Hello and welcome to another one of those lovely EU5 Tinto flavor Dev Diary doodads, and this time we're going to be having a look at Austria. This is a country which I think should have quite a lot of flavor because, of course, in EU4 terms, they are one of the big nations. I'm not sure if it is a Tier 1 nation in EU5. It might be Tier 2. They don't even start as the emperor. The first time they gained emperorship was, I think, 1440 was when the Habsburgs first became emperor. But even so, I think it's going to be a popular nation because a lot of people are going to want to kind of take the chin and run with it. So I'm assuming they're going to have quite a lot of content. But, you know, as they say, or as they said, I don't think they say it anymore, Austria est imperio optime unita. AEIOU is the motto of the Habsburgs, and we are going to be getting in and having a look at what kind of flavor they get. So, hello and welcome to one more Friday to Tinto Flavor, the happy days in which we take a look at the flavor content of Europa Universalis 5. Today we're going to be looking at the content for Austria. As usual, the amount of content... Oh, okay, so I apologize. Austria is absolutely a Tier 1 country. My mistake. Means it has a lot of historical flavor content. However, its starting situation is not as solid as in EU4, as the HRE is ruled by the Wittelsbach dynasty, while the Luxembourg dynasty is probably the most powerful due to holding of Bohemia. So let's have a look at Austria without further ado. So yeah, I apologize, I was mistaken there. I think one thing I will say is Vienne is, or Vienna, Wien, I'm not sure, whichever way you want to pronounce it, is like in a really rough location. Like, honestly, not the best in terms of I can't even freaking find it. Where is Wien in this? That's Weiss. Graz is there. I think it's like north. Either way, it's not a very good location for a capital or a trade market because it's just so inland. Is there a better map? There's a slightly better map here. Can you see Wien? Oh yeah, there we go. Wien in the north there. It's a really awkward location for a capital and for a trade capital. You're really struggling to get any kind of control over the majority of your country. It's also incredibly hilly. It's incredibly mountainous. You know, you got some Alps there in your south. It's just really kind of awful. I'm expecting or hoping that there's some way in which Austria gets a bit of a boost to, you know, getting control in the disparate regions, because as it stands, they're just in a really rough spot. So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be something like that. I hope so. The heartland of the Holy Roman Empire endured the long period of the Great Interregnum and looks to the next decades with worry. In the face of the advancing age of the Holy Roman Emperor Ludwig IV von Wittelsbach, the families of von Wittelsbach, de Luxembourg, and von Habsburg once more prepare for competition for the imperial crown. While imperial authority south of the Alps is deteriorating, German merchants scramble to secure their trade routes into Italy, while the Hanseatic League are enjoying their dominance over the region of North Germany. Due to the diligent efforts of Duke Albrecht II, the wise von Habsburg, and his predecessors, Austria successfully expanded and solidified its rule in Lower Austria, Styria, and Carinthia. With their position on the southeastern borders of the Holy Roman Empire secured, Austria can now look towards the grand prize the von Habsburg is determined to reclaim. The imperial... reclaim? Did they have it before 1440? I think that was the first time they had it. I'm not sure reclaim is the correct term there. I think it's claim, sure, but reclaim? I'm not sure about that one. Okay, so I know Wikipedia's got this whole thing about it, but I was like both correct and wrong. So term as Frederick I Habsburg, term as king began in 1440, but his term as emperor began in 1452. So there was a bit of an interregnal period, although I mean, term as king of what? King of the Germans? Or I'm not sure. But yeah, this is when the House of Habsburg began, and scrolling up, I actually don't see any time that they were up. You know, there's no Habsburgs up here. So unless this guy is actually, you know, related to these guys up here, like direct descendant, then maybe you could make some kind of claim situation there. But I genuinely just don't see it. So yeah, I don't know. If there is something in there that makes this make sense, then let me know in the comment section below. I would be interested to understand. But anyway, we have this clown. Some of these clothes, man, is kind of crazy. Duke Albrecht II the Wise is not bad. He's very good admin. Diplo skill, pretty naff on the mill skill, unfortunately. He's Danube Bavarian as a culture, which I believe that's what all of Austria is. His country is mostly Danube Bavarian. There's no Austrian at this point, it seems. As for content, obviously there's a bunch of country bonuses just for being Austria. Germans have 6 bits of content. Catholics have 62 bits. Christianity in general has 10. Monarchy has 43, and being a settled country has 7. Excuse me, has 7. And you got your maps as well. Very nice. So yeah, decent enough tax base. 32 to start with isn't bad. You got 1.5 million population, though. You can expect this to go below the 1 million mark by the end of 1455-ish. You're looking at about 1 million. But anyway, looking at their structural content, their estate stuff. You don't even start with any reforms, which is interesting. Crown power is low, but again, no reforms. Nobles are dreadfully very, strong. I really don't like a strong nobility, but I've been told that I'm wrong, and that I should enjoy having nobles who will purchase all the burghers' goods. So maybe I need to switch up my own strategies. So, some of the advances, Austria having 17 in total. We have the legacy of Rudolf I, giving army morale. Nothing in here about Rudolf being the Holy Roman Emperor, so I was wondering, is the legacy, is that the legacy we're looking at? But apparently not. We have 2 Felix Austria Nube, giving some diplomatic reputation. I'm very surprised that there's no AEIOU reference, either. Maybe it's gonna come, but that's a motto that the Habsburgs used a lot, which is also, I believe, why that's what it's known in the Mayo and Taxes mod. Is the Mayo is just a kind of corruption of the Austrian motto. Austria est imperio optime unita. Austria is best united by the empire, although there are alternative ways of AEIOUing. Austria erit in orbe ultima. Austria will be supreme in the world. Aquila electa iuste omnia vincit, or alle ere is ob uns. Also another one that they use. Look, they just liked they like vowels. Well, I mean, what can you say? They just like vowels, and I'm surprised that that's not the name of one of the advances. I don't know. Maybe it is. I've not played Austria, so maybe I'm just missing it. But anyway, you get some Diplo reputation. Makes absolute sense for them. The Landsknecht's tactics, higher merc premium cost, and mill tactics. I mean, tactics is nice. I'm not really sold on mercs right now. So, we'll see. The Edict of Restitution, giving pop conversion speed. That's pretty decent, especially in the age of, Reformation. So we're looking at, a bunch of Protestants coming, and you want to, stop them from being Protestants. We have the Geheime Rat, giving an extra cabinet seat. Absolutely fantastic. Cabinet seats are fantastic advances to get. And the Wiener Klassik, giving cultural tradition and influence. Also a really, really good advance. So on the other hand, Austria has a lot of narrative content and also unlockable structural content via events. So 145 DHEs for Austria is on the high end. And they actually have about 190, but they're spread a bit differently than other countries. So Tyrol has 24, Styria has 16, but all of them are available to the other Habsburg-ruled countries if they manage to consolidate all their lands. That's really, really cool. So 190 brings them definitely in Tier 1 range. So a lot of the early game content revolves around the ruler of Tyrol, Margaret, with an event chain centered on her troubled marriage and the intention of Austria to secure this county. So Bohemian influence. Consort Jan, the young husband of Duchess Margaret, brings with him influences from his home country, Bohemia. Not only his own manners are a bit foreign to our court, but also his retinue of Bohemian nobility try to accumulate power inside the Tyrolian lands. Our own nobility grow more concerned by the day about the impact this could have on our duchy should an heir of the de Luxembourg be born. So you can try and restrict their influence or let them continue undisturbed. So we have some events about the glory or lack of it of the Habsburgs, including Johann von Viktring, documented the history of the von Habsburgs in great detail, from the victories of Frederick II, the election of Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf von Habsburg. Okay, so maybe that legacy of Rudolf is a thing. Hang on a moment, we need to find this. Search Rudolf. Several rose were crowned king of the Romans, but not emperor, although they styled themselves thus. Among them were Conrad, in 10th century, Conrad. Rudolf I is there. 1218. 1218. Let's search for 1218. So, like, around here. Interregnum of the Holy Roman Empire is taken to have lasted from the deposition of Frederick II. The election of Rudolf I in Germany. He was not crowned emperor, nor were his successors Adolf and Albert. So he kind of just got a little bit shafted. They could have had the emperorship 200 years earlier, but I guess they just got a bit shafted. Fair enough. Okay, this is the part of the process of playing these games that I quite like, is finding something that's like, oh, well, that's a bit interesting, and then going down a rabbit hole of learning about why it's interesting or why it makes sense or what happened. Like, I didn't know this about Emperor Rudolf von Habsburg, mostly because he wasn't a fucking emperor. Evidently, he was not Holy Roman Emperor. Apparently, according to this one little bit of Wikipedia. Right there. But that kind of quirk is what I really like. Nobody can know everything, and I don't have a history degree, so I have not had, that level of historic education, academically. But there is enough historical content online that, if somebody is interested in it, they can find it. And, these kind of games give you a go look in this direction kind of situation, which, I really, really enjoy. Really enjoy it. Anyway, we also have some works of art that he can create. We have the Liber Certarum Historiarum, nailed it, that Johann can make. Very nice. The von Habsburgs are humble, aren't they? The Book of Certain Histories is a chronicle of the lands of Austria and Carinthia, containing also a section of the history of the Holy Roman Empire from the time of the Carolingian period. If that's a book that still exists, that would be very useful. Anyway, the loss of our ancestral seat. Our enemies forced us to revoke our legitimate claim to Aarau. With this, we do not only lose one of our strongest centres in the area of Switzerland, but also the Habsburg castle itself. While the castle lost most of its functionality and prestige with the acquisition of and our move to Vienne, the loss of our dynastic seat is a harsh blow to our prestige. Sadness. We have forged the Privilegium Maius. As the prime protector of the Holy Roman Empire from the southeastern threats, the Duchy of Austria deserves to be elevated to the highest standing in the empire. True. Fact, actually. Holy Roman Emperor Friedrich Barbarossa von Hohenstaufen granted Privilegium Maius to our predecessors, securing our independence from Bavaria and granting us the title of duchy. Now it's time to put additional pressure on Ludwig IV to expand those privileges, elevating us close to the status of Prince Elector. There are skillful people in the court that could be employed to forge a new document that could force the Holy Roman Emperor to recognize our position. Becoming an elector would be kind of nice, actually. Different outcomes depending on the time it triggers, if the ruler of Austria is the emperor, etc., like these. Very nice. So you can become at the Libertas Affectandi government reform, which gives crown power, possible government reform, so it's free. This is just fantastic. I mean, I don't particularly enjoy going towards aristocracy, but I'll take it for the crown power, to be honest. It is quite nice. And you change succession law to dynastic cognatic primogeniture. If you succeed, you'll get the addition of Archduchy of Austria, giving another free reform, giving legitimacy, diplomats, and prestige. It's also very, very nice to have. Either Tyrol, or if Austria has annexed its lands, will get this event, which will be impactful. Silver found in Schwarz. Farmers in Schwarz made a miraculous discovery while tending to her oxen. One of the animals dug up silver ore in a meadow. According to her story, the silver lay shallow in the earth. The local mayor immediately sent prospectors to search for extended silver, which confirmed her story. isn't it exuded? Whatever, I don't know. With the potential silver deposits they promise, there is very little risk involved for us to start exploiting the area as much as possible. God bless the maid. Some events about the relations of Austria with the Catholic Church as well, like the reformist movement of Melk, giving some max literacy of the clergy estate privilege. This is pretty good. This is just a fantastic privilege. Basically, anything that increases your the satisfaction of your clergy is something that you want to employ. Having the clergy at high satisfaction increases your research speed, which is just something that you want to have all the time. So if it's not a bad privilege, like it doesn't give you a negative, a malus, but it increases the loyalty, it's worth doing. Definitely worth doing. We have the Mandate of Vienne. With the growing influence of Reformation, our country has experienced an influx of Lutheran converts. Our Catholic clergy have raised concerns to leader Katharina von Habsburg about the influence of those groups could acquire and the damage they could cause. So when you act, you get Johann Faber moving to the Archduchy of Austria, and you unlock the Mandate of Offen policy. There is a comment about this as well. Clergy power goes up, pop conversion speed goes up, tolerance of heretics goes down, progress to spiritualist. And here it is. So why does the event say Mandate of Vienne, but the policy says Mandate of Offen? Isn't Offen the German name of Buda? So yes, the event will select an alternative location in case Buda is not owned by you or the subjects, or your subjects at the time, which is why it is the wrong location, I guess. But either way, the Mandate of Offen there happens. It's pretty. It's again. Having clergy happy, if this does make them happy, I'm not sure, but it's in the censorship. It's in the censorship policies or laws. I'm not sure which one I usually like with censorship. Generally, I like a limited censorship. But I don't know. This seems pretty fine, I guess. Also, a very important motto. Oh, there we go. AEIOU. Actually, amor electis in Iustis Ordinor Ultor is not one of the AEIOUs that I was familiar with. But that's cool. Archduke Albrecht has been chosen as the Holy Roman Emperor. His election came as no surprise considering his talent in establishing diplomatic ties to the electors of the Holy Roman Empire. His ambition and desire to win the election are already displayed in his earlier chosen motto, Amor Electis in Iustis Ordinor Ultor, which he abbreviated to AEIOU in his signatures. AEIOU was used by Friedrich III von Habsburg as his personal motto and signature, which was later used by multiple monarchs of the same dynasty as a dynastic phrase. The intended meaning of the phrase is unclear, but during Friedrich's reign it was used as an en amor electis in justis ordinor ultor sic Friderescus ega mera rego. Christ. In his official imperial documents, the phrase translates to, "Behold, I am anointed to love the elect, to punish the unjust, and so I, Frederick, exercise my rights." Later, other readings became popular. For example, Austria est impare orbi universo, which is one of the ones that I said, I think. Actually, no, it isn't. It just isn't. Austria is to rule the whole world is... I guess Austria erit in orbe ultima is that one. But either way, it's called, like, there's so many different ways of saying AEIOU. Oh, and if you're wondering where I'm getting that from, it's just off screen. I'm not that good at remembering crap. I'm terrible memory. Either way, yeah, Habsburg's very humble, very, very humble. They're also patrons of the arts, so you can get some more artwork, and more art means you are improving your cultural influence, which is just objectively a good thing to do. I'm just kind of curious if you're going to be able to, create the Austrian culture at any point. Konrad Keltz proposes the Collegium Poetarum et Mathematicorum. Love it. You can get a special building, giving skill of new artists, monthly progress to humanists, and then on the location, culture, tradition, and monthly literacy. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Monthly literacy plus 0.25% feels very strong, but remember, it can only go to the max literacy of the certain pops. So, you know what? If you've got a max literacy of 40%, this is going to get you to 40%. It's not going to be like, 100% in 35 years or whatever. But either way, we also have Duke Albrecht II the Wise von Habsburg's Feuerdank. Nailed it. Lovely. You're getting some more artwork there. and the Schönbrunn Palace, which will give you more cultural tradition and influence. Absolutely fantastic. And some monthly legitimacy as well. The production methods seem pretty steep, though. This must be a late game. Well, it says first age, but I'm sorry, you're not getting porcelain in age 1. Ivory is also pretty difficult to come by in Austria in the first age. Gold you should be fine with, honestly. Furniture, tools, glass, silks, marble, it's all relatively fine. But yeah, that's actually going to be quite difficult to acquire the other things. And I said silk, I meant fine cloth. You also have Joseph Haydn, who can come and join you. Secure the services of a renowned composer. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart as well. That's the anti-Habsburg chin, it looks like. Again, at a certain point, I think we are going to get the character portraits for all these unique characters that show up. They're going to look more like their actual counterparts, but for release, I don't think it's super necessary. Ludwig van Beethoven as well can show up. Very cool indeed. Eugene Duran, never heard of him before, but he's a skilled officer. You'll be able to have him join you. Like, there is so many like unique characters, and you can, yeah, it's very cool. Jan Vaclav as well there. But that is it for this one. Sehr gut indeed. Next, Tinto Talks. Of course, I've already done the Tinto Flag number 2. Tinto Flavor about Kanem Bornu and Songhai. Looking forward to reading about that one. That one's already out, but I haven't done a video on it. Yeah, I haven't done a video on it yet. Onboarding systems like tutorials and the mission system and all that kind of stuff. The hints. That's also already out. I'll get to it, I promise. And then on Friday, there's Tinto Flavor about Poland, Lithuania, and Ruthenia. Looking forward to reading about that one as well. Before we get to that as well, there are some developer comments that, of course, we need to go through. None of these 3D chins are anywhere near big enough. This is just fact. This is actually true. St. Dave, please fix immediately. How does taking over Habsburg Austria content work? So we need both to be Habsburg and HRE Emperor as another German tag. So Habsburg content is for Habsburg countries. That is Austria, Tyrol, and Styria. So becoming Austria's, you know, that might work, but conquering it and being the Emperor is not going to be enough. Becoming Archduchy should raise your rank to tier 3, since the whole reason of that was to put Austria above every other prince in the empire without having to become king. Since that was only allowed for Bohemia. So the approach is that the rights they were granted put them on a closer level towards worldly electors, not kingdom rank, which is why they should remain a duchy. I kind of prefer, like, when you're elevating, I agree with Matt for here. Like, sure, the idea is they should not be king because that was just for Bohemia, but at the same time, this Archduke thing is definitely higher than a duchy, and I think it's better to represent that than to represent the idea that the king rank is just for king title, is my opinion here. And then DHE is about Ottoman Habsburg Wars? No, unfortunately, no. I find very strange, though I do 100% believe that as one of the DLCs that we will get, you know, we have the Old Alliance, we have the Phoenix one, I forget the name of it, and we have the one about Morocco and Castile. I think one of the ones that we will eventually get is going to be between, you know, the Habsburgs and the Ottomans. Like, that just seems like a given to me, so I'm content to wait for that. It is, you know, 3 whole ass countries between the Ottomans and Habsburg, so I feel like it's kind of okay. It's still a little disappointing, I'm not going to lie, but, you know, eventually that will come, I'm sure. So any content about Austrian attempts to gain the Hohenstaufen Duchy of Swabia? I think this comment is not correct. Right? This is a no, but there is some different, like, he's replying to the wrong comment here. There is content about the Austrians going into Switzerland, but it's handled on the Swiss side mostly. I think this is incorrect. There was another comment that I remember seeing that was talking about that. What's been the team's policy so far regards to railroading content for Austria? I feel as though not modelling in the historical plausibilities like the inheritance of Burgundy, Spain, Bohemia, Hungary will cripple nations such as Austria quite a lot. So there are DHEs to arrange marriages with Bohemia, Burgundy, and Spain. That's good to know, especially the Burgundy one. But the triggers are quite restrictive, as in other cases we've shown that in previous Tinto talks. Most marriage-related unions can be handled organically through PU mechanics. All well and good, but I'm fine with some amount of soft roading. I'm going to say railroading because, trains can't leave tracks. Roading. I'm fine with roading, not railroading. Give me roads. I like roads. Content creator, I believe this was Playmaker, I'm not sure though, said that Austria has an event to move its capital to Graz. Why is that a thing? Because they moved the place of holding court and residence several times. The event described allows 3 of the traditional seats of power, Vienna, Graz, and Innsbruck, if you control it, with the option to remain in the current location. Later on, there's an event about making Vienna the permanent capital. Very cool. Will the historical events for persons like Eugene, Beethoven, etc. have a possibility of firing in other countries if, for example, Austria is off something or other, great power score, blah, blah, blah. So no, not with the current system. The historical characters are attached to specific countries only. This is my experience as well. When I played Wales, I owned and controlled London for a while before I became Prydain. As soon as I became Prydain, I got the events related to Sir Christopher Wren, Sir Isaac Newton, etc. I did not get them as Wales. It's just not a thing. They're not tied to location, they're tied to countries. Does the AI always choose the historic buildings like the Schönbrunn or recruit historic artists? AI always picks the historical option. I think this is kind of bad sometimes. There is an event early on when you play as the Romans, Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium if you wish, whatever, where you can choose to pay like 2,000 ducats to repair something or other. I don't think it's the Theodosian Walls event. It's something along those lines. If the AI is always choosing the book option, that just means that the AI is permanently going to be in mad amounts of debt and bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is very, very painful. You lose 90% morale from bankruptcy rather than 50% from EU4. So it's kind of huge. It's a big deal. And they already have minus 20% from their goddamn noble privilege. Off topic, when looking at the HRE map, really hope there will be a reliable tool to map the history of locations of provinces. So, yes, there is any type of location. Localization can be added to a location, so they have sitges. Obviously, this is where Paradox is based. When you click on sitges, you get this text here. In the Middle Ages, a castle was built on the hill where the city hall now stands. The first owner was the Bishopric of Barcelona, but in the 12th century, it became under the ownership of the family in which it was named after. It goes on to say how many of these locations have descriptions like this. Only 55. Mostly either important places or places which developers or collaborators of the project wrote a description for. It's something we want to keep expanding in the future, but with 30,000 locations, expanding it more would have been a huge pile of work. I have been named as collaborator. Now, in the Content Creator Discord, we were asked if anyone wants to write a small bit of flavor text for their respective home city, they are free to do so. And I, of course, didn't write about Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough ain't in the game. Because Middlesbrough had a population of 4 in 1337. So I wrote some localization for the location of Darlington instead. So when you get the game, go and have a look at Darlington in the UK, northeast England, and you'll be able to see my another bit of my contribution to the game because I wrote the flavor text for that, which is kind of cool. I think I'm proud of it. I like being in the game in some way. Just leave me alone. But anyway, no, it's very cool. It's very, very cool to be a part of that. When we get a Switzerland Tinto flavor, the very last one will be Switzerland and the Hansa. Very cool. Looking forward to that. Styria and Carniola can be released from day one as subjects as they exist as historical tags. So this is like your starting control map mode, which, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but like, good lord. This land here is definitely going to be more valuable to you if you get the money from a vassal rather than owning it directly, which is why you can release them. And this is, the map if you release them all as vassals. Is the German partition succession law still in the game? Yes, but it's a little different. Splitting the countries was something that wasn't really working in the game. Instead, it reduces the control in each land depending on the number of brothers in each succession. Might be slightly underwhelming, but they think it's the best way to manage it. I mean, that's fair enough. More playable gameplay. It's one of the reasons I was kind of reluctant to play in Germany, because I didn't actually know this until this Tinto talk came out. I've been reluctant to play in Germany because I don't really like the idea of, oh, I had a succession, I've just lost half my land. That was like, no thank you, I'll play somewhere else, please. Lowering the control, it's an elegant way to balance between historical reality and gameplay functionality, and I think they probably... I mean, if they go back and have a look at it again, that's fine. But right now, I think this might be the best way. Could the partitions with certain German states be something scripted like flavor events? Yeah, that could totally work. Will you be working on making it actually work in the future? So, I mean, obviously they can't say. Whatever they do post-release, they want to make sure it works probably first before commenting about it, which is entirely fair. And then finally, if the Privilegium Maius is not fully accepted when it's first introduced and so not raised to an archduchy, can a future emperor have a chance to proclaim it fully, as happened historically? Yes, when Austria becomes the emperor, they'll be able to receive an additional event granting themselves the most humble title of archdukedom. In case you do not want to wait for it to happen, you can also send a nice gift of gold with an initial request to raise the odds, although acceptance of this well-timed gift is not guaranteed. Yeah, so if you don't become an archduke through the event when it first fires, you can become one if you become emperor, which makes sense. But anyway, that is it for Austria. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if this is a tank that you are super excited to play. This guy, look, the chins aren't here yet, but the chins will be coming. They will be here. We'll get to the chins at... I mean, he doesn't have much of a chin. Not much of a chin. And then we have the chin. We definitely have the chin. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you want to support me, then there's a link in the description and the pinned comment where you can pre-purchase EU5 and I get a cut of that sale. Or just like click the subscribe button because I got videos that are planned to come out. Tomorrow we get the recordable build of EU5, so I'm super excited for that, and yeah, some stuff is on the works. It's in play, and I'm looking forward to, you know, the next couple of months of content and stuff. It should be a good time. See you then. Bye bye.